Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma and this is my little craft corner, and today I'm recording I think it's my 6th episode of my knitting podcast. So let's get settled, grab your knitting and let's get started. So first of all is my finished objects. I have one completed object and it is something that I had not started in my last podcast, so you haven't seen this before unless you watched last week's video where I showed you the process of making this. But it is this chunky hat. I knit this in Scheepjes Roma Hidde yarn in a grey colorway. My grandma got me this yarn when she came over a little while ago, and she gave me a lot of this yarn, so there's a lot to do with this. I already made my mom and my grandma a cowl out of this yarn, and my grandpa already has a hat with this yarn, and now I have a hat as well. And I used AI to write this pattern down. So I asked ChatGPT to make me a pattern for a chunky hat, and then this is the end result. If you want to see how that went, you can go over to my other video that will be up here somewhere, so you can watch that and be up to date with how I made this. But I'll try it on for now. It's a bit big because the AI did not really understand sizing that well, I guess. It looks pretty weird like this. I think it's supposed to be a bit slouchy, but it just stands up, so it looks quite pointy. But if I actually fold the brim, I realized that it's quite cute, but when folding the brim, you have to be careful not to show the purl side, or just not tip the brim all the way over. I quite like how this looks, and I will wear it if the weather allows for it anytime this winter, because it's been it hasn't really been that warm, but it also hasn't been that cold that you have to wear a hat in the Netherlands. We've been going through phases of warmer and colder winter weather, but this will keep me nice and warm, if not this winter, then the next. Yeah, it looks quite cute, I think. And this actually is my only finished object of the month, which is kind of a shame. But if you watched my previous knitting podcast, you know that I had a lot of issues with a lot of my projects. The yarn for my sweater number 16 still hasn't come in, so I'm going to my local yarn store in a bit to check up on her, see if maybe she just forgot to call me, because I don't go there that often anymore. So maybe she just forgot to call me, or maybe it's really out of stock, the yarn I need. So that isn't finished, and I really hope to have it finished by now. And then the other projects that I had to frog a lot the past month, and then they were all kind of in the corner of doom, I call it, or just I did not want to touch them for a little while, so I didn't. I didn't touch most of my projects for a little while. It also had to do with the fact that I got a job. I'm working full-time now. I'm working 4 days of 9 hours in a week. So that's 36 hours of walking, basically, and that's a lot. And then I get home and I'm tired and I don't really want to knit. I talked a bit about that in my knitting chat that I uploaded, I think it was 2 weeks ago, which will also be linked up here for you to watch in case you missed it. But I talked a bit on my knitting mojo, knitting motivation then, and ever since it has been good. Basically, I had a lot of thinking to do with most of my projects, but I kind of scheduled in those moments where I would really sit down and figure out this part of the pattern. So I scheduled that in a bit, and then after I went through with it and after I had done it, it was quite alright. And I'm now knitting not really mindlessly, but a bit more mindless than I was. So that's great, and without further ado, I will get into the works in progress with you. First of all, I have this one. This is my Camisole number 5 and my favorite things knitwear. And this has grown quite a bit since the last time you saw it. I'm working on this for the Beginners Mean to Knit On challenge by Midsummer Knits Dream. And that challenge has passed because it was a January only challenge where you did something every day. So I knit a round on this every day. But I really liked incorporating knitting this in my morning routine or just my daily routine. So I decided to continue it until this is finished, basically. So January 1st I started where this first stitch marker is. And then January 31st I ended up at this stitch marker. So this is about 10 centimeters of 2x2 ribbing on 2.5 millimeter needles. So that's a lot of knitting, and I really like only doing one round a day because it really just helps the project coming along. And if I find that if I knit on this a lot in a day, my hands will kind of start aching. It's not really that good, and I kind of dislike that. So knitting on this every day, one round a day, has proven to be pretty good for me. So this is what it looks like now. This stitch marker is January 1st. This is, I don't know if you can see it that well, February 1st, and then I'm currently February 4th. I'm right around here. So this, I think, is going to be finished maybe end of March, beginning of April. Well, lengthwise, because then I have to do the arm and neck details. So then this will be ready for summer. It looks so babyish, basically, but it does stretch out a lot and enough to cover me. So that's great. I fit in it. I have tried it on, and I do fit in it. But it's a bit of a hassle to try it on because I don't really have that many cables for the ChiaoGoo red lace set. So attaching my 15 to 20 centimeter cables to this is a bit of a hassle. So I will not try it on today. But just believe me, it fits, and it fits quite great. I'm knitting this in the Katja cotton cashmere, which is lovely yarn to touch. It's the cotton is great, and then the cashmere just gives it a nice, really soft feel to it. It is 10% cashmere, so it's not that much, but you can still notice that it's doing something. So this is a nice pistache color, and I kind of got it because it was on discount, and I love a bargain. But I've grown very fond of this color. I'm currently in my 3rd skein, and they are 50 gram skeins. And I think maybe the 3rd skein will take me all the way to the end, or maybe not. We'll see. I might have to break into a 4th skein. I have 5, so that's fine. I'll have a lot left over. I already know that. But this is just a lovely color. I think it suits me quite well, and I really cannot wait to wear this this summer, or just to layer it under other items this winter. I really want to have this, but I know it's going to be a slow process, and I kind of also do love that, because this is not something that I want to knit on all day for a day or so. And it's kind of not really trust the process, but just enjoy the process thing. I really like this. So this is, you'll be seeing this in the whip pile for at least one other podcast, I think maybe 2. So I will not stop talking about this project for a while, but it looks amazing. I really love it. So then we have a project that I did not really love that much. Last time you saw it, which is my sweater number 15. I did a video on a 48-hour challenge I did with this. I did on it for 48 hours, and then I was at the point where I would almost join the front bits. And I did that, and then I kept knitting, and then the armholes were too big. If you remember last month's podcast, the armholes were just too big, and there was a color change going from skein to skein. So I ripped back about maybe 4 pattern repeats or something to the point where I was just about to attach the front and back together and knit it around. And then I took more out so that I could decrease the size of the armholes. And then I kind of just wove in, well, not really wove in, I interchanged the skeins that I was working with so that the big change to the new skein would not be as noticeable on this one, on this version, than it was in my previous version, because there was just a line basically there. And now there is none. So it's a bit more of a fade into the new skein, and I really like that. I have put it on another cable so I can show you how it looks. Just give me a second to get into it. Really hope I will not be dropping any stitches here, because that would be super annoying. Yeah, so we're in. I'll stand up so you can see it a bit better. But this is currently how the armhole looks. And this with blocking will get a bit longer. But I do think this is a great armhole depth. You can see it with this store-bought sweater that this armhole is already a bit down. And I do like this armhole length, but this will just be a bit more, I guess. I don't know how it will sit, but I do really like the fit now a lot better than I did with the previous fit. So this is something, this is one of the projects that I really had to sit with and figure out where I was in the pattern after frogging. It had been in the corner of doom for a week or 2 weeks maybe. So I had to really find the motivation to pick it up again. And it's just counting to 10 every time to do the twists at the right time. This is not really a mindless knit. It's a bit more mindless now that I don't have to think about increasing or all that stuff, but I still have to count to 10 every time. So this is not really an after work knit most of the days. It's just a knit on my day off kind of thing. I will take it off now because it looks kind of ridiculous. Yeah, other way, there is a string attached. Yeah, I really love this color. I really love how this is working out. I'm knitting this in Peruvian Highland wool by Holland Creatief, which is a Dutch yarn dyer. And I really love this color and the slight variation in the yarn. I just love how this is working up. I'm doing it with only one strand of yarn. There's no mohair involved. I really like that there's no mohair involved because I'm not really that big of a mohair fan. Maybe because I haven't really tried knitting that much with mohair, but I did knit the Edgar cardigan. Has mohair in it. It has drops kid silk, and I find it a bit itchy, or I just don't really see the extra value of mohair. Maybe it's because I haven't tried the very expensive, very nice mohair yet. But this is just done with one strand, and I really love this. Really love how this is working out. So yeah, I can't wait to see how this will finish. I hope to finish the body in a couple of weeks and then start on a sleeve or something. So I have something to show you next month, but I don't think this will be finished in my next podcast, but we'll see. I might surprise myself. And you, probably, because if you've watched my previous podcasts, you know that I always say that I'm going to be doing a lot, and then next month I have not really done all the things I said I would do. But that's alright, because this is a hobby, so that's alright. Then I have my last whip already. I'm flying through them all already, I feel like. But this is my Mind Trick sock. And if you watched my previous podcast, you know that I already was doing the heel flap. But I had to throw it all back because it did not fit properly. So this is what it looks like now. I've thrown all the way back and I did all this. I'm now past the heel. The heel was a big point for me where I put it down and I did not really want to work on it because I had to figure out how to do the heel with all these colors going on, if I wanted to continue the pattern on the heel or not, or if I wanted to do pattern on the gusset and all that. I just had to sit down and do some math, and I'm not really someone who can do a lot of math when they're tired. So I had to take a day for this. But I, in the end, decided to just do the heel flap in the gray color, which is, I guess, the main color of the sock. I don't know, it's a bit confusing. And then on the instep gusset thingy, I decided to continue the pattern and to just have it like come together slowly with the decreases. And I really enjoyed doing that. I did notice, I don't know if I can show you right now where it is. Oh yeah, here. Because I went back and forth here a lot, I was this is the middle of the repeat section, I guess. So this row has been worked this part has been worked one row more than this part. So you can kind of see that in here, because it looks like I did 2 stitches of the same color next to each other. I don't think that's too bad or bad enough to redo it again. So I'll just keep it like this, but it's one thing that's maybe driving me a bit nuts about this. I'm now also seeing that this is a bit gray, but it's, I think there's just there was some loose part of yarn. I am knitting this in the Lana Glossa Meilenwijd yarn, and the gray is a bit variegated. You can see it in the heel maybe a bit. It's a tiny bit variegated, and I really like that color change. And then I guess it's more burny color, the red. I really love the contrast between those two. I don't think I'll have enough yarn for this, because I only have 2 50-gram skeins, so 1 skein of each color, and I don't think that's enough, so I'll be searching for more yarn pretty soon. But I really like how these are working up, and I'm quite motivated to work on them again. So maybe next podcast I will have finished the first sock. I'm saying that out loud now to keep myself accountable. I will have finished the first sock and I will have started the second one. I cannot promise you anything on how far I'll be with the second sock, but I will have at least started it. Yeah, I really love this pattern and I can't wait to have this in my wardrobe to wear, because I currently have 1 pair of socks that I knit myself and I really like wearing them, even though they are a bit loose, but they're still fine. Yeah, I really like these socks. I cannot wait to have them finished. But I do also like the process of knitting them, because it's color work, but not really that confusing of a color work, I guess. It's just really nice. And the socks actually fit now. I have tried them on multiple times to make sure that they fit, because I did not want to go over all of the same things again. Yeah, it fits. I like how it's working up. So there's no reason for me not to finish the first sock this month. So yeah, you'll be still seeing this in the whip pile next month, but I will be working on the second sock. I'm just saying that out loud to keep myself accountable, because now you guys expect me to have knit all that. So yeah, those are my whips. Then I have a few Yarny acquisitions. First of all, you might have seen it in the back a bit, but this, I don't know, it's technically a finished object, but I finished it 10 years ago. Then I lost it, and I recently reacquired it because my mom found it in one of the boxes underneath the bed. This is a scarf that I knit that I was very proud of. I think I knit this, 10 years ago probably. And this yarn, I remember, is so weird. It's a bit of a lighter, fun scarf, I guess. But it has ruffles, and the ruffles are built into the yarn. So I don't know if I can show you properly. But we're gonna try anyway. Yeah, oh no, is this unraveling? Or did I just not? I don't know, I think we're fine. I think it's just a skein change, but it might be a great part to show you guys. So here I have, you can see that this is definitely knit, because you can see the stitches. This is the purl row, this is a knit row, it's garter stitch. So this is the back side, this is the front side. You can see it a bit, I guess, but it's really weird. So it's a very loose gauge, but then the stitch has this attached to it. It's kind of a net, a fishing net kind of thing. And yeah, it's really not showing up that great, but this is all attached to the yarn that you knit actually. So it creates these ruffles that are so fun, and I was so proud of knitting this when I was very young. I was so proud of this, but I had lost it somehow, or misplaced it, or I don't know. But this is now a scarf that I own that I will probably never wear, because let's be honest, it looks a bit, well, not to downplay it, but it looks a bit weird. I guess it's a bit scratchy as well. I don't know, it's just a tiny bit scratchy, and yeah, I don't think I'll be wearing this that much, but it's really fun to have this memory of something that I knit when I was younger. And I like the colors. I was a very big fan of the color blue growing up. So I have a lot of knitted things in blue, and my bedroom was blue and everything. I've grown out of that phase a bit. I'd say, knowing that I just showed you a blue sweater and knowing that there's blue yarn sitting here that I'm showing you guys in a bit. But I've kind of grown out of my blue phase. So it's fun to see this, but this is also incorporating some browns and grays, and I don't know, I really like this. I really think this yarn is so much fun. I remember it being a lot of fun to knit with, but I just don't think this scarf is me currently, but I will keep it forever, because this has so many memories attached to it. Yeah, I will keep it, but I will not really be wearing this that much. Also because it's a lighter scarf, it's obviously not keeping me too warm. And I don't wear decorative scarves ever, basically. So yeah, I don't think I'll be wearing this, but it is still fun to own. Then I have some actual yarn acquisitions. Um, this, these 3 skeins have joined my family of yarn. I'm trying to destash, which you might not say seeing this, but I'm trying to destash. And Wol met Verve, who is the yarn dyer of this yarn, also was destashing, I guess, because she put on a sale where she had surprise packages of 5 skeins of yarn for a discounted amount. So me and my mom crochets, and she has been wanting to crochet socks. She now has a sock crochet book. We decided to go for it and get ourselves a package. I will show you all of the yarns. I took a picture of all the yarns together and I will show you that here. But yeah, these are my 3 ones. 2 of them are blue. This is kind of a navy, very dark blue, and I love this so much. I mean, I saw this and I knew I really wanted this. So I'm so glad that I have it. This is kind of more of a teal color. It is slightly variegated, but not too much. Some darker parts, some lighter parts. It's, yeah, between blue and green, I guess, and I really love this as well. I think it's still neutral or tonal enough to work up in a lace pattern, which is something that I really want to do. I really want to get into lace knitting for socks, because I have the 52 Weeks of Socks book that you're currently resting on, so I cannot show you that. But I have the 52 Weeks of Socks book, and I really want to knit some socks from that book. But I only have very colorful sock yarn, and that's not really that great for lace work. So now I have these, and those will be great for it. And I also have this very fun one. This is a bit out of my comfort zone, but yeah, it's like pink or nude color with blues, yellows, pinks, just speckles all over. And I love this so much. This is a very bright part around here. I love this so much. This, I think, will make a great vanilla sock, I guess, with a nice contrasting color. This will just, I think a vanilla sock will be the best way to make this yarn shine on its own, because it's so fun and I don't want a pattern to distract from how fun this yarn on its own is. So I think these will be some nice vanilla socks, and I am really excited to knit those, because that's a very easy project, or it's a very mindless project anyway. Knitting vanilla socks, just stockinette all the way until you hit the heel or the toes. Just stockinette all the way. And I think that will be a great way for me to kind of wind down after work, just stockinette all over. So yeah, this I think will be worked up pretty fast. These two, I am not sure. These will probably become lace socks, which will require me to do a bit more thinking than I can do after work. So these will have to wait a bit, I guess. So this is the basic sock recipe of 75% superwash virgin wool and 25% biodegradable nylon. And then this 100 grams equals 420 meters, needle size 2.5 to 3.5, machine washable in cold water, and hand dyed in the Netherlands. I really love Wilmette Verve yarn. I already have one of her skeins, which is also a bit more variegated, kind of a red rusty color, I guess, and I really love that as well. But I think it's going to be a similar situation to this one, where I will not want to do that much lace or anything of that sort, just to have the pattern shine in itself. So yeah, these three skeins have joined my little yarn family, and I'm now trying not to buy that much yarn. I'm saying knowing that I'm going to a yarn fair next week. Yeah, so that's great. Yeah, I am going to yarn fair next week with my mom and my grandma. We're going to the Handwerkbeurs in Zwolle. And I have a little shopping list for that I don't think I'll reveal now. I'll vlog the experience of going to the Handwerkbeurs and I'll share my shopping list there, because I want to tweak some things on it. And then, yeah, I'll take you to the Handwerkbeurs with me and I'll show you what I got afterwards. So stay tuned for that video. Will probably be online. I'm going next week, so I don't think I have time to edit it before Sunday. So it might be a few days later. I don't know yet. I have to figure that out. But stay tuned for the Handwerkbeurs video. And yeah, things I'm looking forward to knitting. I haven't done this segment a lot, I think, just because I've been working on so many projects at the same time that I did not really have the headspace to think about what I want to knit next. But I have now. I want to knit the excavation blanket. This is a scrappy blanket, and I'll put up a picture right here. You can use scraps and you don't have to weave in ends. Those are two very, very great things. Yeah, I have to figure out all the logistics for that, but I have acquired some scraps over the past year, and I would love to use those up using a lovely pattern that does not require me to weave in any ends. So yeah, that's great. I'll be figuring out the details of that throughout the next month, and then maybe starting on it this month. So I'll talk a bit more about that to you in the next knitting podcast, or maybe a video in between this video and next month's podcast. So yeah, I have to figure out all those details, but there is an excavation blanket coming. I really want to knit a blanket, and I think this is a great fit for me and for my knitting style, and for the kind of scraps that I've acquired. So stay tuned for that. Happy knitting this month. I'll be trying to get through a lot of my stash. I'll probably cast on these socks, so you'll be seeing these as well next month. And I will see you guys again real soon. Bye!